Hello, this is Scholar Strife doing some math today in geometry. We're learning about the Pythagorean theorem. So let's go over some vocabulary. Pythagorean triple. We'll go over that later. So let's go straight to the theorem. Theorem is for a right triangle. So remember, a right triangle is a triangle with a right angle. And let's call this A, B, C, little a, little b, little c. So the little lowercase ABC represent the lengths of those sides, and the vertexes are the capital letters. For a right triangle, the length of the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. So a famous equation that you probably hear a lot: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So hypotenuse is the longest side of a right triangle, and it's always the opposite of the right angle here. So if you start at the right angle and then go to the opposite side, that is your hypotenuse, and then the other two are legs. So Pythagorean triples are three numbers, a, b, and c, that satisfy the equation. And if you ever recognize any of these numbers, it'll help you solve these equations faster. So for example, 7, 24, 25. If you look at the triangle in example 1, we have 7, 24, and they're saying, what is the missing side here? Well, we know it to be 25. But we're not going to use this chart. This is just helpful to make sure that you're doing it right. We need to practice doing some solving these mathematically. So here we go. So we know that this is 25. So we're going to see how we would do that mathematically. So we have the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So when doing these, you always need to determine what is c. C is your hypotenuse. It's the longest side of the triangle. It's always opposite of the right angle, so that side is x. Okay, so we have x squared equals a squared plus b squared. For a and b, it doesn't matter, as long as a is different from b. So 7 squared plus 24 squared. So if you choose one, you must choose the other. 7 squared plus 24 squared. So let's do this. 7 squared is 7 times 7, 49. Plus 24 squared, which is... let me grab a calculator. 24 squared is 576. And that'll be x squared. Add those two together, and we'll get 576 plus 49 is 625. Okay, to get x by itself, we're going to square root both sides, and we'll get x equals 25. And look and behold, it matches our Pythagorean triple. So some of you might be wondering, well, I square rooted both sides. Shouldn't this be plus or minus 25? No, because when we're talking about lengths, we do not use negative lengths. We use positive lengths. There's no such thing as negative 25 meters when you're talking about length. Something is negative 25 meters long. It's like, no, that doesn't work. So let's do another one. So 9, 12. So first off, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What is my c value? Opposite of the right angle is my hypotenuse, the longest side. So c is x squared again. 9 squared plus 12 squared. So what you pick for a and b really doesn't matter. It all depends on what c is. So 81 plus 144 is x squared. Take the square root. Let's add these together first. 81 plus 144 is 225. Take the square root of both sides and get x equals 15. Alright, let's move on. Okay. A 6-foot long board rests against the door just below the doorknob, and the base of the board is 5 feet away from the bottom of the door. How high is the doorknob above the floor? So if you look down here in this picture here, they drew it out for us. We have a right triangle. And our hypotenuse this time, opposite of the right angle, the longest side is 6. And then we have a base of 5, and we're wondering how tall is this doorknob here. Okay, so we're still going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, our longest side is c, opposite of the right angle, so this is 6 squared. Again, a and b, it doesn't matter what you pick. So 5 squared for a, and then my other will be x squared. Okay, so 25 plus x squared equals 36. Subtract 25 from both sides to get x squared equals 9. So when I take the square root of both sides, what times itself is 9? That would be 3. Alright, find the area of an isosceles triangle with side lengths 17, 17, and 16. Oh, I messed up. Before we really go back there, so this is 36 minus 25 is actually 11. So I have take the square root of 11, and that'll give me x being about, use your calculator, 3.3 feet. So let's try this again. Example 3, find the area of a isosceles triangle. So if you don't remember what an isosceles triangle is that two sides of the triangle are the same length, being 17 and 17. And we want to find the area of this triangle. So remember, area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times height. So we need to find out what h is. So, but look here, this height kind of splits it into two right triangles. So in order to find the height, I'm going to do 8 squared plus h squared equals 17 squared. So Pythagorean theorem. So we have 64 plus h squared equals 289. Okay, subtract 64 from both sides and we'll get 225. Take the square root, get h equals 15. So now that we know what h is 15, we can now do the formula. So the formula is area equals 1/2 the base, and we're talking about the whole triangle here. So the whole base is 8 plus 8, which is 16. Okay, and then times our height, which is 15. So 1/2 of 16 is 8. 8 times 15 is 120, and then we're using meters, and we're talking about area, so square meters. Alright, let's do this again. So 50, 50, 28. Split this up. This is 14 and 14. Okay, so I'm going to find h by doing 14 squared plus h squared equals 50 squared. Alright. So 196 plus h squared is 2500. Subtract 196 over and we get 2304. And believe it or not, this comes out to be just 48. 48 times 48 is supposedly 2304. Okay, now that we've found h, we can find the area of the triangle. 1/2 the base, which is 28, times my height, which is 48. So this is 14 times 48. Punch this into our calculator, and we'll get 672, and they use square feet this time. Alright, find the length of the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse again is the longest side is also c. So 24 squared plus 48 squared equals x squared. Now if we back up to the last problem, we already did this. Oh no, we didn't. Never mind. 24 squared plus 48 squared. So 48 squared is 45. I was confused. That's why. 24 squared plus 44 squared. 24 squared is 576. 45 squared is 2025. And we're going to set this, add this up. 2601. If we take the square root, we get x equals 51. Crazy. I'm just going to make sure that the square root of 2600, or 51 times 51, does indeed equal 2601. Yep. Alright, use a Pythagorean triple to solve for the hypotenuse. Okay. Now, on a test, I won't make you do this because you kind of need to memorize these tables. But the thing is, they can be multiples of 3, 4, and 5, or 5, 12, and 13, 8, 15, and 17, or 7, 24, 25. In this case, 30 and 40 are multiples of 3 and 4. That means the last one is 5. So you'll probably see a lot of 3, 4, 5 triangles. So in this case, x equals 50. But if we want to be sure, 30 squared plus 40 squared equals x squared. 900 plus 1600 equals x squared. 2500 equals x squared. Take the square root, and you'll get 50. Hopefully this helps you out. Have a good day.